Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ Live here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift.NoDQ. Very busy day in the world of WWE. We have an eventful Smackdown Live to discuss. Happy Rusev Day to everyone. That's a little bit of foreshadowing as to what I will be talking about today on SmackDown. Snipe Rider says, best SmackDown of the year. It was a hell of a show. As usual, better than Raw. And Raw was not that bad this week. People are very ecstatic about how SmackDown Live ended. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's break down the show. To me, there was really only one negative on SmackDown, and it was the opening segment. Yes, Curtis Butler, and I thought Rusev Day was dead. I believe this is Rusev's first ever WWE title match. I think the announcers brought that up, but I'm not sure if he's ever had a WWE title match before. Maybe somebody out there in the chat room can clarify as to if he's been in a WWE title match at some point. I don't think he has. I know he was in US title matches. Maybe he was he in a Universal title match? I don't remember. Ryan says Ruru is the best. Ruru #1. Interstate Kyle says not counting house shows. There we go. Kyle, you better behave tonight. No deleting super chat messages. I will tell you if a super chat message should be deleted, but anybody who sends in a super chat, I will read their comment unless I think it is inappropriate. Inappropriate. What's inappropriate? Is that even a word? Kyle says, I took my meds, LOL, just kidding. All right, so the opening segment was Carmella coming out to celebrate her Money in the Bank victory. I was not a fan of this promo just because of the fact that it was a carbon copy of what Alexa Bliss has been doing. It's the same type of promo where Carmella acts like she's humble all of a sudden and she's all kind, and then all of a sudden she's like, psych, fooled you guys. And I did not buy it. I did not buy Alexa's promo on Raw because Alexa has already done it. I mean, come on now. How many times are they going to do this, oh, I'm humble now, and then, just kidding, I'm not humble, it's all about me. It's really getting old now. I wasn't a fan of this promo just because of the fact that it was a carbon copy. Then we had James Ellsworth come out, once again dressed as Asuka. He cut a promo, and then we had the real Asuka come out. She took out James Ellsworth, but then when her back was turned, she got attacked and laid out by Carmella. Some people were not happy with this segment, feeling like Asuka has cooled off significantly, and now she's getting laid out by single kicks from Carmella. Cindy says, the opener made me feel sorry for Asuka. That made me lose hope for Asuka. Kurapika07 says, Asuka looks so weak now. Chris Mace says, she should have done that on Sunday and won the title. Ali says, James Ellsworth is back. Woo. There was actually another negative on this show. Let me just get the negatives out of the way because overall I really did enjoy this SmackDown Live. The other negative for me was the tag team title match, the Bludgeon Brothers against Anderson and Gallows. Why was this done again? There was no good reason for it. I think Paige said something like it's unconventional or something, unorthodox, whatever. It just doesn't make any logical sense. Anderson and Gallows lost. They lost clean. So why is WWE doing this match again? All it did was make Anderson and Gallows look really weak because they lost a second time. So why do the match? I don't get it. At least if you're going to do a second match, have the kickoff match end in controversial fashion where Anderson and Gallows got screwed out of the titles. Something like that. You don't have them lose clean once and then have them lose clean again. I hope this is not a bad sign for Anderson and Gallows. I hope this isn't going to be a repeat of Big Cass. I really hope that's not the case here, because why would you do this? Why would you bury this tag team? I don't get it. The match was fine. I really have no issue with the match. I just don't understand putting Anderson and Gallows in this situation to have them lose clean twice and give them a rematch when they already lost. GOTF says, if Brian did not get a concussion tonight, he never will. Ryan says NXT Tag Team Wrestling is a million times better. Bailey is cool, is a bit concerned. He says they will be released. So we had another tag team segment on this show. We had Sanity make their SmackDown Live debut. They were supposed to have a match with the Usos. Now, I was scared at first. When it was announced Sanity versus Usos, I was afraid Usos were just going to come out and get squashed. I was really scared about that. But fortunately, it was more of an angle. Usos came out, they cut a promo, and it could have been worse. Yes, TJS, I agree. The Usos have cooled off, but I think this could have been worse. At least Usos got to cut a promo. Sanity came out and beat them up 3-on-2, and there was no actual match. So I liked this. I thought that this was well done, and you kept the Usos protected. I'm fine with this being dragged out a little bit. I'm guessing the Usos will lose to Sanity, most likely at Extreme Rules, but don't just do it in the first match. Save it. There's no use in doing Sanity versus the Usos as the Usos putting over Sanity in Sanity's debut match. Curtis Butler says Nikki Cross is so short in person. A lot of people saying they want Nikki Cross, they miss Nikki Cross. So let's talk about the Iiconics. They came out, they cut a promo on Toledo, Ohio, which is a town that I've never been to, but I actually could understand why the Iiconics would cut a promo on that town. With all due respect to people that live there. It just doesn't sound like a place you would want to live at, but I've never been there, so maybe I should not judge. Ryan says it's a great city, so I'll take his word for it. We had Becky Lynch defeat Billie Kay, and they're saying Becky Lynch is on a roll. I'm really confused by this storyline because Becky lost, and at first the announcers were talking about how Becky is needing to rebound and prove she's not a flash in the pan, but then they say she's got momentum just because she won one match. Make up your mind. But I like the fact that Becky Lynch won, and some people are going to be upset that the Iiconics are basically enhancement talent, but it is what it is. Somebody's got to put over Becky, somebody's got to put over Charlotte, and that's basically what the Iiconics are there for. I thought it was a fine segment. I hope WWE does something significant with Becky Lynch soon. Hired Help says, I feel like the whole women's roster needs a shakeup. Some people need to turn heel and some face. I agree with that completely. Kayfabe Candy Ass says 50-50 era, they'll get their win back. Ryan thinks Becky Lynch is about to turn heel. We'll see about that one. So the first hour of SmackDown, we had those segments, and then most of the second hour was the Gauntlet match. We had a few other backstage promos. We had a Jeff Hardy interview, and I actually thought that this one was really good. Jeff had his back turned to the camera. He was talking about how last week Nakamura gave him the low blow, and he wants revenge. He turned around. He said his eyes are open, and he had the face paint on his eyes. Pretty cool stuff, and it's a nice natural transition into Jeff Hardy versus Nakamura. Nakamura also cut a promo on Jeff Hardy. Good stuff here. I liked it, and this should be an interesting feud. Hopefully Nakamura can rebound from AJ Styles and have a good feud. Maybe Nakamura will be the next United States champion. People want to see Jeff Hardy bring back his old music. We'll see. I'm seeing a lot of different comments in here about that. Nakamura will win the U.S. title, says W Glass 90. Bradley says, hopefully no more words is brought back soon. All right, so let's talk about the big match on the show, the Gauntlet match. Unless there's something I'm missing, again, if I am missing something, just let me know in the chat room. Give me a little reminder and I'll give my thoughts on it. Because about 45 minutes of the show was dedicated to the Gauntlet match to determine AJ Styles' opponent at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. I thought that this was great. I thought that this was very well booked. It made sense, and it was done correctly. I think everybody looked well in this match. TJS says WWE acknowledged Big Cass. Yes, that's true at the beginning that Daniel Bryan beat Big Cass. But that's the last time you will hear Big Cass on a WWE show for the very near future, at least. Maybe he'll never show up again. Ryan says, I agree 100%, Aaron. I think he's talking about the Gauntlet match. So it started off with Daniel Bryan one-on-one, and I thought that Daniel Bryan looked great in this match. I mean, he was on fire here, and like that comment from earlier said, if Daniel Bryan isn't getting a concussion by now, I think he's going to be in pretty good shape. Jason Steffens left a $2 super chat donation. You were right, Aiden English is awesome. Well, is he the Miz awesome, though? That's the question. Is he Miz awesome? But anyways, it was Daniel Bryan against Big E of the New Day. And this was actually a really good match. Some people have been speculating, is Big E going to get his big singles push? I don't know if it's going to happen yet, but Big E looked good here in a one-on-one situation with Bryan. I never expected Big Cass, or excuse me, not Big Cass. See, I got Big Cass on the brain here. I never expected Big E. Maybe there's only room for one big person in WWE. Since there's Big Cass and Big E, one of them had to go. Maybe WWE just decided that the company's only big enough for one guy with the big moniker. But anyways, Big E and Daniel Bryan had a great match. It went something like 15, 20 minutes, and the crowd was hot for it. But in the end, Daniel Bryan picked up the win over Big E. And then the second participant was Samoa Joe. Now, I was worried at this point. I was worried that WWE was going to have a decisive finish here. See, I think there's a big pay-per-view match you can do between Samoa Joe and Daniel Bryan, and you can do a feud between these guys. So I was a little worried here that Joe was going to take the fall here. Maybe Joe would beat Bryan, but I sensed Bryan was going to last past the second match, and he was going to run the gauntlet at least for a couple of people. So it went back and forth, again, 15 minutes or so, and they did a really creative finish that protected Joe but allowed Daniel Bryan to advance. They were on the outside. Joe put on the coquina clutch, but Bryan was able to reverse out of it, and he got back into the ring, and Joe got counted out. I like the count out, Curtis. I think it worked here. It protected Joe. It advanced Bryan in the match, and you can save a full-fledged, decisive decision between Daniel Bryan and Samoa Joe on a future date. So I like it. Keep Joe strong. There was no need to have one of these guys get pinned. But anyways, Daniel Bryan continued here, and right after he beat Samoa Joe, we had the Bludgeon Brothers come out and attack Daniel Bryan. So backing up a little bit, when the Bludgeon Brothers won their match, as they were heading to the back, Daniel Bryan came out and there was a little stare down. So this is weird. What does this mean? Is Daniel Bryan going to find a partner to team up against the Bludgeon Brothers? Interesting switch in direction here. It looks like there's going to be a tag team match with Bryan finding a partner. A lot of people in the chat room are saying Team Hell No reunion. Possibly. Never say never. Duran Harris with a $15 super chat donation. Can we finally see Daniel versus The Miz? Well, we did get Daniel versus The Miz because The Miz came out. He ran out to the ring. He was running out there very quickly. He hit the skull crushing finale and he pinned Daniel Bryan. I like this. I thought this was great. You save Daniel Bryan versus The Miz. Miz gets one over on Bryan, and you have something to further escalate their conflict. I liked it. Again, well-booked stuff here. I thought the decision-making was on point. Sam Atwood with a $5 Super Chat donation. Think they're downplaying a Daniel Bryan push right now because they want to play, because they plan on him being the guy, as in beating Brock at WrestleMania? Here's my thoughts on that. I think WWE wants to do a big Daniel Bryan match at SummerSlam. That's what makes sense. And you want to save Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles. You don't want to do that match on pay-per-view at Extreme Rules. I think they should save it till WrestleMania, quite frankly. So, Bryan, it seems like he's good. It seems like he can work at a normal level again, just tone down his style a little bit. And I think you should save Bryan's biggest matches for the biggest pay-per-views. SummerSlam, maybe it'll be Bryan versus Miz. I fully expect Bryan to stay with the company. I know some people are speculating that he might leave. I think he's sticking around. Just so many big opportunity matches. I think Bryan will stick around in WWE. But anyways, Miz pinned Bryan right away. And then we had Rusev as the final participant. Interesting here because Rusev was booked as a total babyface in this match. He did have Aiden English out there, but English was more of just like a coach, you know, just cheering on Rusev. And the crowd was fully behind Rusev, of course, with the Rusev Day chants, wanting to see him make his comeback. And Russo did. Oh, I just said Russo. See, this is what happens when I hang out with Virtue for 3 days. I start thinking of Vince Russo all the time. But yeah, Russo was I just did it again. Holy crap. Wow. I did it twice. Rusev. Now I got it drilled into my head. Rusev made his comeback, and he ended up defeating The Miz with the Accolade. And he is the new #1 contender. So I guess we're getting a face versus face match, or is Rusev going to be a heel again against AJ Styles? I think they should just do a face versus face match. Don't even book Rusev as a heel at this point. AJ came out at the end. He took the belt. He drew the line in the middle with the belt. And looks like we got ourselves a hot main event for the pay-per-view. I just got like 3 Super Chat donations, so let me try to read these off here. Chris Ramirez with a $2 Super Chat donation. Miz versus Bryan at WrestleMania changed my mind. I like that too, but I think the real big match is AJ Styles versus Bryan. I think that will be a better match overall, but I think Miz and Bryan could be a better feud. Mike B with a $5 Super Chat donation. By the way, Chris's comment might be a good poll, so maybe I'll put that up and see what fans prefer. Mike B with a $5 Super Chat donation. I just tuned in on here. Sorry if you already covered this. Jeff Hardy, Brother Nero, or Willow debut next week on SmackDown Live. I don't think there's going to be any Willow. Willow, I think it's a cult thing. It has a cult following, but I don't see that character being mainstream. Just my opinion, though. Maybe he will do it. Who knows? I think he should just be Jeff Hardy with the face paint, with no more words, and just let him do what he's doing. And I think, he'll be over. And you don't need to overcomplicate it and give him too many different gimmicks. And then I got the other comment from my buddy Power Packers 90, not Power Pancakes 90. I have the laptop a little bit closer to me so I can actually read the usernames properly. So is Rusev face in English a heel? That's a very valid question. I would assume Aiden English is going to be a face. I was thinking at first during this match that maybe we were going to see Aiden English turn heel against Rusev and join up with Miz. I was thinking that for some reason during this match. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I had a sneaking suspicion that there were going to be some shenanigans. I was a little surprised that Rusev won just because my brain was telling me it's going to be a heel versus AJ Styles, and Rusev was basically a babyface in this match. So I was thinking in my head, Miz was going to win, and maybe we were going to see a swerve with Aiden English turning heel. But no, Rusev just beat Miz, and Rusev and AJ Styles had their stare down to end the show. And I liked it. Very good SmackDown this week. Letter grade, with the exception of Carmella's promo and the Bludgeon Brothers tag team match, which I thought was a waste of time. Those bring it down a little bit, but I'll give this show a B+, which is a very solid number. Letter grade, not a number. But if I was going to do a number, I'd say it's like an 8 out of 10. You know, very, very good show. Better than Raw, but Raw was good too. So overall, I'm really happy right now. WWE had a very strong 4 days between NXT, Money in the Bank, Raw, and SmackDown. Good week. Enjoyed the shows this week. Not too much to complain about. And I'm feeling pretty good about it. So, of course, the big story this week is Big Cass getting canned today. Apparently, he was fired today. The decision was made today. Vince McMahon personally made the decision to fire Cass, and Big Cass was reportedly complaining about having to put over Bryan again. See, it's weird because I feel like WWE already gave up on him. I feel WWE gave up on him in London when Bryan put him in the submission and Cass was on crutches. They did that angle. To me, that felt like the moment where WWE just was done with Cass. I really think what he did with the attack on the little Daniel Bryan, I think that's what sealed his fate. If he went against Vince McMahon's direct order, then yeah, that's going to get you in hot water, and it must have pissed off Vince greatly because, like I said during the live video earlier, the breaking news video, Big Cass is Vince. When I see Big Cass, I see the prototype of what Vince McMahon sees as a star. 7 feet tall, good-looking guy, tan, and I think Vince just, you know, he sees star power with guys like that because they're larger than life. He has the larger than life look. So yeah, Vince must have been outraged with Cass for them to not only bury him, but to outright fire him when they could have just sent him home and let his contract run out and just pay him his downside. And then, of course, there's the whole talk about will Big Cass and Enzo reunite. Enzo went on Twitter right after the release news broke and said, #how you doing? So was that an insult to Cass, making fun of him, or was that maybe a shout out? Who knows? But like I said earlier, maybe if they have issues, they can put those issues aside and they can form a team. So here's a question for you guys, just to make this fun and have a little bit of humor here. What would be Big Cass's nickname in Impact Wrestling? Think of the worst possible name, and I think that could be Big Cass's TNA name. Bailey is cool said Jack Cass. Tony said Big Chass. Talk Show God said Big Cactus. Ryan said Big Truck. Dylan said Big Frodo. Chris said Huge As. Cindy said Big Willie. Big Will. Yeah, Big Sig Bass. Large Bass. Large Lass. Cassidy the Big. Big C. Big Hole. Big Hobbit. Cass Bass. Big Guard. Big Bass. Colin Assey. Big Grass. Big Money Morrissey. Big Dumbass. Kevin Nash Jr. C. Rev. Harry Casshole. Castrophe. Cass Amore. Colin the Colin. I don't know. Cass Big. Big Edge. I like that one. Dylan Folk says, I'm dying at these names. Holy shit. I'm going to take these names and post them on NoDQ.com as a compilation. That was great, guys. That gave me a good laugh here. Colin the Bruiser, the Midget Killer Cassidy, Big Not So Sexy, Test Junior, Large Chipmunk. Mr. Vacation says he likes Cass Bass. Somebody from Impact. Oh, I'm losing it now. Somebody from Impact Wrestling is gonna see one of these names and just come up with his name in Impact Wrestling. CM Cass, failed test. Bob Smith, Big Pink Slip. Instead of test, call him quiz. Cassandro. Kev Dog says don't give Impact ideas. Cryback. Big Flab. Oh man, Chris May says Impact is going to say, damn, they did our job for us. All right, that's enough, guys. I'm losing it here. Vince McCass, Cass Rollins, the Big Dog. Now, I don't think they can use Big Dog. Big Chicken, Donald Trump ass, Big Unemployed, Big You Shall Not Pass. Nelson left a $2 super chat donation. What happened to Randy Orton? Randy Orton has been taking some time off, and I think he recently had surgery since he was given some time off by WWE. But he should be back fairly soon, probably in time for SummerSlam if I had to make a prediction. But yeah, that was great, guys. Thank you for those suggestions. That was very entertaining. And I think I'm going to do a compilation and post some of those on NoDQ.com. So thank you again for all that. You guys, I appreciate it. All right, guys. So I will go ahead and end this edition of NoDQ Live. Thank you all very much for tuning in. As usual, I appreciate it. And tomorrow I will be posting the Wrestling Trivia Challenge season finale. And you guys got to check out this one because this match was arguably the best trivia match we've ever done. And Chris Cass. Oh, what have I done here? I just mistakenly called Chris Cass Big Cass. Chris Cass and Greg Cherry had a phenomenal match. But this season finale is right up there among the best wrestling trivia challenges. Ryan, I'm not going to tell you who won. You're going to have to watch it and find out. But you guys are in for an amazing match. I can tell you that. I don't think you guys will be disappointed with this match. Kyle, am I drinking alcohol? This is water. Water. Jeez, Kyle, you're really on thin ice right now, my friend. I'm going to have to take your moderator privileges away. You are really asking for it. I guess you're mad about that toe comment I made the other night. W Glass 90 says water. Yeah, I pronounce it water because my parents grew up in New Jersey, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, I'm signing off here. Thank you all again for tuning in. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com. Very busy news day, so I was back and forth. I was trying to enjoy the Lincoln Park Zoo, but then the Big Cass news broke, and I was on my laptop and had some amazing ribs though. I don't know the name of the place offhand, but it's like halfway between O'Hare and downtown Chicago, right off the 90. Great ribs place. Actually, I think it was the best meal I had on this entire trip. Better than the pizza, better than the hot dogs. Great barbecue place. And I wish I knew it off the top of my head, but I don't. So I'm going to sign off unless somebody wants to play that little game with me. I'm not going to ask anybody to do it, but I'm getting ready to sign off here. I'm just waiting to see if somebody does it. If they don't, I have a plane to catch tomorrow, so, I don't want to stay up too late. Plus, Virtue's Rage is coming up. So you guys head over to NoDQ.com/Virtue, and you guys can watch Virtue and Big Jeffrey. By the way, Big Jeffrey has a t-shirt coming. I told him I'd make him a t-shirt. We have a 4th of July sale coming up. And also there will be a NoDQ review t-shirt coming up. out. Wrestling Trivia Challenge tomorrow. I will see you guys next time.